Hey everyone, this is Eric with Nutrition by Eric. Hope you're doing well out there. Today's topic is, do we need fruits and vegetables, and if so, why? Well, I'll tell you that I, and many others, natural-minded practitioners say yes. There are many reasons, but I'll give you three today. Number one is your nutrients. Now, nutrients are what your body needs. It gets from all your food, unless you're eating like cardboard. Some foods out there are not much better than cardboard, in my opinion. But your body, think of like potato chips versus some fried Twinkies versus uh, some brown rice and an apple and some celery sticks. Now your body's going to eat them, and it's gonna get certain nutrients, or maybe it won't get the nutrients from each of those, and then it has to figure out what to do with it after it extracts, after you've chewed it and mushed it, and it starts to go through the digestive process. It has to do something with it. So if you're eating less healthy food, body's like, well, there's not much to see here, folks. Move along, and it's not going to get a lot of nutrients. Just try it. You try eating just plain old chips for a week and nothing else. I'm pretty sure you're not going to feel very good if you make it through a couple days, let alone a week. Um, Same thing if you just eat other junk. You need certain nutrients for your body to function. I mean, every cell of the body needs vitamin C, for example. Your brain functions well when it has optimal levels of the B vitamins, which there are several. And your eyes, you probably know. Eyes, among other parts of the body, you need vitamin A, and that's usually converted. The body does a conversion activity when it comes from beta carotene. So all the vitamins are part of this nutrient category, and they're found in fruits and vegetables. Which ones have which? Well, it varies. I recently watched a documentary. It was, I think, called Eat to Live. It was about raw food. Raw food is people who don't cook their food, and they pretty much eat raw food. And raw food categories usually are four things. It's fruits, veggies, nuts, and seeds. That's pretty much what raw foodists eat. Sometimes they will eat grains, but grains are, I recently found out, are often heated, or they're sprouted. So you can have sprouted, like seed, then they're actually back to seeds. So seeds or mung beans, you can sprout certain things, but that's a whole other category, and they're quite healthy, by the way. So you want to get these nutrients. You want to get the nutrients in the body. That is the benefit of eating fruits and vegetables. Number two would be fiber. So food enters the body, and it serves a dual purpose. One, it literally feeds you. It gives your body the nutrients it needs, as we mentioned. And it also goes through the process to create fiber, which can help eliminate the unused portions of the body. And if you don't have fiber, you're going to have a hard time relieving yourself when you go to the bathroom. So, and that's a big thing. That's a very big thing. I was in Mexico for 6 months, and I saw what they eat, and it was very good food. I haven't been to a lot of countries, but I've been to a handful, maybe 10 countries. And in Mexico and a lot of other countries, it was imagined as tacos, and a lot of them were just pretty much tacos and meat, and maybe a little bit of onion once in a while. We see avocado a lot of in the U.S., but I didn't see a lot of avocado down there. I've heard they export it, so they don't have as many all over the place as we do. I don't know if that's true or not, but I didn't see a lot of vegetables, even when I was looking for vegetarian places or vegan places, which I wasn't always looking for. I started to do that later in the trip, but I started noticing, wow, they're not eating a lot of vegetables. And I always see this. I always notice it there in the United States, where I live now. I said, wow, there is an issue when you don't have enough fruits and vegetables. And I asked somebody who's a natural-minded doctor, we were talking about, somehow we said, what is the number one issue with health? Or what's the number one most sold over-the-counter medication? And he said, it's anti-constipation remedies. So that was very telling, very, very telling. So that is an excellent reason to have fruits and vegetables. So far, those are two. So for the nutrients, including the vitamins, and fiber, which will help eliminate. And if you can't eliminate, especially if you're young, you're going to create a habit and you have a hard time when you're older, and that can just lead to a lot of bad road. I was living in San Francisco for several years, and predominantly a lot of young kids. As you may know, that's where a lot of tech happens. A lot of the big names you've heard in tech, they're founded there, they exist there, they have offices there, and I would go to coffee shops to work a lot. I would spend time trying to work from home, and I would take my trusty laptop to a local coffee shop, and I'd have to go to the bathroom, and I'd wait, and I'm like, what is taking these people so long? Sometimes I wouldn't count it, but it'd be like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I'm like, what is going on? And I tell you from experience, I spoke with a natural-minded doctor years ago, and others since then, and she told me, she says, Eric, every time you have a plate of food, imagine a plate of food you should have either cut into thirds or in half. Now, if you can do the thirds, a third of it should be vegetables, and then she said some other things should be like carbohydrates and a little bit of protein. Third, third, third. If you want to do it another way, cut it in half, and half of vegetables, and then the remaining half, quarter. Similar idea, carbohydrates and some kind of protein, either plant-based or meat. So I don't know, since then I always said this is good. And I didn't eat that great growing up. I had a lot of sub sandwiches, and it was a lot of things that are not good for fiber, like bready stuff, sticky stuff like cheese, dairy, fried. Those categories, especially the more processed it is, like, I don't know if they still make this white bread called Wonder Bread. It's a wonder you're alive after you're eating it, I think is what that is. And that stuff is pretty much like just goop and glue. And you can imagine a lot of foods turn into like glue in the body, like cement in the body. This is for a whole other topic, but this really happens. Things go through the body, and just like if you poured glue, like Elmer's glue, down a hose, just like a garden hose, a 30-foot garden hose, a good analogy, and you put a little bit of water through that, and you just kept pouring glue and sap and sticky stuff, eventually you would cut a section of that hose, you'd see just the glue sit there. It's like, oh, that's not going anywhere. This is what happens when you don't eat high fiber food. And that's why a lot of people in the natural health community, whether they be a health coach, a naturopath, a functional medicine doctor, chiropractor, massage therapist, you name it, they'll know as part of the training you have to eat a certain way so things move out of the body. If things don't get out of the body, back to that garden hose, things are stuck, your body's not functioning optimally. Even worse, it can interfere. You ever have someone like a backseat driver or a family member telling you what to do, or tapping on the shoulder all the time, bugging you? This could happen too in a kind of way in the body. So you want to make sure you have time check that enough fiber, and this is the best way you can get is fruits and vegetables. So the third reason to eat fruits and vegetables is because it's very easy on your arteries, veins, and capillaries. Now, what you may wonder what the differences are. They're all in the vein category. When it comes from the heart, it's the largest. It's like a tubing. If you ever see like a sprinkler system or some kind of irrigation system, you start with the main source. You have pushing water. The heart pushes blood, of course. And there's larger vessels it goes from a larger vessel to a smaller vessel. And at the smallest end, it's a capillary. They're teeny, like in the eyes. And they actually go throughout the body like a road system. One way to look at it, like a 3D road system. And it goes to all the cells of the body. It's amazing. Whatever, 100 trillion, I believe, cells we have. Blood has to get all throughout the body. So there's like a branch, like a root system. You've probably seen both the layout of the heart and all the vessels that go everywhere from the top of the head to the bottom of the toes, one hand the tips of one hand to the other. So these are all the way your body is fed the nutrients. It's through the venous system. Venous part of word, some of the word vein, and you want to make sure that stuff, especially the thin ends, when you have the thin capillaries for the extremities of the body, you want to make sure those don't get gummed up. That would be, it's bad to say, that's bad stuff. That's kind of what strokes and what's the other one? Not arrhythmia, but can't think of the word. But when you have, and that can be only caused by actually things that are not fruits and vegetables. So people have a lot of meat, and they have arterial sclerosis, and they have to have bypass surgeries. They go on it's awful stuff. So you can avoid that by completely reducing the bad, what I'll call, it's not bad, but you have to, the body works like a chemical reaction in a way. It's a formula. If you A plus B equals C. If you eat cheeseburgers and french fries every day, that is not going to give you good health, and it could cause a myriad of issues, especially the problems with this circulation. So you want, it's going to go through the blood. What do you want going through your blood? You want thick, goopy stuff, or you want nutrient rich? Think of like if you ever seen a chlorophyll drink, thick, dark green, rich nutrient like spirulina or something like that. You want something mixed in with the blood to have a high amount of nutrients to feed the body. Because remember, your body isn't just fed from you're eating. It has to go through a series of activities. It ends up as food for the heart to distribute through the blood. Think how that one works, huh? How did you go from eating into the stomach and the intestines into the heart, pumping it out? So it's a pretty intricate and amazing set of activities. Another video. So that is another reason. That's 3 reasons. So to recap, 1, it gives you the nutrients, your vitamins and your minerals. Number 2, fiber. So once all is said and done, the food can come in and it can go out. Oh, back to the story, standing in line at the coffee shop bathroom store, at the bathroom at the coffee shop, so wherever I go, because I had so many, I would be in and out. I mean, even if I urinate or I eliminate feces, it'd be quick. I'd wait 5-10 minutes and I'd be out in 2 or 3 minutes. And I've always thought of like, put a little note, are you here more than 3 minutes? What is wrong with you? In a joking way, I'd say, you need to eat more fruits and vegetables. Go to my website. Get my ebook. So really, I mean, it can make a big difference whether you're young or old or somewhere in the middle. Eating a high fiber diet or a diet high in fruits and vegetables can be a game changer. So now you may be wondering, well, which one should I eat? Should I be vegan or should I be a vegetarian? Should I, be a little bit of, both? Should I eat meat? That's up to you. There's lots of ways you can eat healthy. You don't have to. This is touchy because this affects so much of us. So you can eat one or the other, whether it's vegan or plant-based, or with dairy or without. But you have to kind of know how to do it right. Like if you're playing a sport, I like to think of sports analogy. Well, a good example I like to use, is basketball better than hockey? Is soccer better than tennis? They're different. But you have to know how to do them. You would not play tennis and, learn from a soccer player. You wouldn't want to play basketball and learn from a football player. So they all can be done. Sometimes it's good to switch it up too. So it's not like I'm picking my diet, I'm a carnivore, or I'm paleo, or I'm a keto guy, or I'm a plant-based, or I'm a vegetarian, or a macrobiotic. You can switch it up. That's the beauty of life. Now, whether you have the moral concern or the ethical concern, that's another topic, and that's up to each person or group. But the fact is, you can make anything work. Not anything, maybe not the fried Twinkie diet, but you can make things work You just have to know how it works, and you have to know when to take breaks, and you have to know how to do cleanses, and maybe take every 3-4 months you have to do a certain protocol or fast, or if you eat meat you got to say, all right, you know what, I need to take a couple days off every so often. So there's ways to do it. If you want to learn more, please be part of the community. Check out my website, nutritionbyeric.com. Drop your name in the email box. Follow me on social media. I'm on all the major platforms ending in Nutrition by Eric. I have a podcast, you guessed, Nutrition by Eric as well. And I'll be adding more as we go. Just started this YouTube channel, and I'll have a lot of content to share. But I just want to get you something to get going with. I'll end with this. Now, when you're having fruits and vegetables, hopefully you're adding them to your diet. You may wonder, well, how many should I eat? What kind should I eat? Should I cook them or should I not? Great question. I'm glad hopefully you at least thought of it. And if you didn't, that's fine. Now, most people, I don't know why no one really thinks of it, but most people eat fruit raw. That's pretty rare. I mean, that's pretty common, right? You have a raw apple or a raw banana or raw pear. You don't even think about it. You're like, you don't think, should I cook it? Should I not cook it? It may be cooked in, like, if you have apple pie or peach cobbler, but most people don't really think about that. And in the Chinese, traditional Chinese medicine, they talk about sometimes cooking your fruits. And then there's a whole world of drying fruits like raisins or dried grapes, and then prunes. So there's all these variations that you may not think about, at least with fruit. You can ferment foods. There's so many cool spin-offs. And then there's some fruits that don't look like fruits, like avocado and tomatoes. Technically are fruit, but they're not sweet. So there's a lot of things we could cover just on that alone. You know, diabetes and blood sugar and blah, 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 blah. Glucose and fructose, which is what comes out of fruit, fructose, ose, and an ose is a sugar. All right, so basically for now, keep it simple. You can eat it, of course, most people do, eat it raw. The calorie content is very high in fruit compared to vegetables. That is something I thought was just mind-blowing. A cup of broccoli, let's say, might have like 30 calories, but a cup, which may be a whole apple, probably has 100 calories. So you're talking about 5 times more. Usually that's the thing. So if you have fruit, be aware that the calories is more. You can use calorie counters like Chronometer or Eat This Much, and there's some other ones, and you can just see how many calories. So even if you have the same size, like a head of lettuce versus a pear there, maybe the same physical size, maybe they're the size of your fist, but calories are going to be much higher in the fruit world. And so you might want to have less fruit and more vegetables, because also vegetables have more nutrients, A to Z. Well, the ones I mentioned. So, whereas some fruit may not have, it may just have vitamin C and a couple others, the dark leafy greens have more of the spectrum of the vitamins, but they won't have as many calories. And for some of us, I'm usually a bit on the thin side has been my build, so I want things in higher calories, but I don't like all the high sugar, so I have to gotta kind of find that balance. Okay, so more vegetables, and then adding some fruit in to give yourself the calories and the other sets of nutrients. Okay, and then so that's answers question of cooking or raw for fruit. Now, same question for vegetables, cooked or raw. Now, if you have a salad, most of the time, a simple salad would be like lettuce, tomato, onion, raw, right? You don't think about, well, should I cook my lettuce? No. I mean, if it's kale salad, well, you could cook kale. Most people cook kale. Many vegetables are not cooked, the ones that wilt very easily, like lettuce, basically. Tomatoes you can have raw or cooked. You know, if you have a sandwich, you might have sliced tomatoes. So it's up to you. I like to have both. I like to sometimes have a salad with raw greens, with maybe some variety of greens, some cherry tomatoes, some onions. You can have some different colors of the bell peppers. And then I might also cook, well, I will usually cook, some kale and maybe like beets and some sweet potatoes. So I just go in progression and I eat in a certain order, which I'll talk about another time too. So yeah, vegetables more often are cooked. So Try to get raw fruit, raw vegetables, and if you're doing cooked food, cooked vegetables. There you go. Use some calorie counters, use some meal planning. You can find some recipes out there. You can add seeds and nuts. Again, high calories, nutrients for a little bit. Oils I don't recommend so much because they're usually processed. I know sometimes you need a little bit when you're cooking, but that's it. This is it in a nutshell. Watch if you do have regularity issues. If you feel like you're going to the bathroom and you're not in and out there more than 3-4 minutes, this is a sign to drink more water, add in the fruits and vegetables. Give it a shot. Let me know how it goes for you. Let me know what else you've tried. There's tons of other things you can do. And that's it for now. Signing off. Stay healthy, stay well, and until next time, take care.